Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday, December 28th at 6:18. And we will begin by taking attendance, beginning with John.
The mayoral appointee.
Andy Brown, District 3.
Anya Middleton, Mayor appointee.
Mary Ann Callahan, First Ward.
Michelle O'Loughlin, 5th District.
Ellen Austin, 6th District.
And we will waive the review of the minutes until after we've had our presentation. So our first group is from,
Wait, what did you say about the meeting minutes?
I said we'll waive the meeting review, minutes review until after we've heard our
Okay.
people.
Okay,
We'll, out of courtesy to our guests.
okay.
Okay. The first presentation is from SEPP. And before we begin, I should kind of give you the rules of the game here. It's about a 5-minute presentation, if you could do that. And we will take a few minutes to ask some questions. And Steve will be keeping time. So we've joked that there's a big hook that comes down and drags you away if you go over 5 minutes, but it's not really true. But we would appreciate if you keep it around 5 minutes. Would you like to pull up another chair and just, sure you can. I just wanted to,
That better?
yes.
Okay. I'm a man of few words, so I won't use all 5 minutes.
Okay.
My name is John Bernardo and I'm the Executive Director of SEPP. I have with me Brandy Jackson, who is our Director of Operations. SEPP, as many of you may know, has been around for almost 54 years this coming March. Maybe I will sit. Wanna grab a-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we kind of like you to sit, because it is,
Thank you. Sorry about that.
no, please don't apologize.
So we've been around for almost 54 years and we provide housing, mostly senior housing, but in more recent years, family housing throughout the area. We have 12 properties and one of my favorite properties is the Hamilton House property on St. John Avenue in the city. Hamilton House was established in 2000 and it contains 37 apartment units. It's an all senior building. We have 39 residents and we serve the low and very low income residents from the community. We've made significant improvements to the property over the last several years. And not very long ago, a couple of years back, we were awarded a project-based voucher by HUD, which enables us to serve the very low-income people in 17 of our units. We come before you today and we are asking for grant funds for a parking lot replacement project that we'd like to complete in the coming year. And it will include clearing and bringing in new blacktop, if you will, on both the southwest and the south side of the building. A few years back, we were awarded a grant from this group for the north side parking lot and sidewalks. This would improve, not only improve the blacktop, but will help those that are less than able to get around, if you will. Happy to answer any questions.
You weren't kidding about that less than 5 minutes, were you? Does anyone have questions?
I'm curious about the current condition of the parking lot and why you say that it needs it.
There are cracks in the parking lot and there are some, basically from the weather, if you will, some undulations and some trouble spots. And we want to address those sooner rather than.
John, how much are you asking for? I've forgotten
We are asking for $20,000 in capital funds. The project will probably, we have it pegged to be around 28,000. So we'll come up with the difference out of
Thank
our
you.
reserve funds.
Any other questions? We thank you very much for your
Thank you.
brevity and the work you do. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. We
Take
appreciate
care.
it. We're going to leave one of these for each of you.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
that'd be
much.
great.
Thank you so much. It's okay. No, it's okay. Thank you so much.
No, no, no. Okay.
This is on, for him, it's not on itself. West side? Oh, Riverside, where?
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
Our next group is Catholic
looking at it.
Charities. Hello.
Hi. So I'm Heather Oliniak and I'm the program manager for,
Can you put your,
Oh.
yeah, so
yeah,
we can.
sorry.
No, no, that's okay.
I'm Heather Oliniak and I'm the program manager with Catholic Charities Teen Transitional Living Program. And this is Sarah Myers and she's the program supervisor. So Catholic Charities of Broome County Teen Transitional Living Program is also known as TTLP, is dedicated to the mission of preventing and ending youth homelessness. TTLP is the only program of its kind in Broome County that serves runaway and homeless youth ages 16 to 21, males, females, including LGBTQ, pregnant and parenting teens. We are committed to serving eligible runaway and homeless youth, no matter their race, religion, sexual orientation, ethnicity, or economic status. TTLP has a bed capacity of 9 between 2 apartments, one which is in the city of Binghamton and one which is in the town of Union. Our apartment in the city of Binghamton can house 5 youth at any time. We expect to serve 8 to 10 youth with our ESG funding request with the city of Binghamton. Youth can stay in the program for 18 to 24 months. Once our young residents are stabilized after fleeing unsafe situations at home, on the streets, they require necessary time to reintegrate into school and complete their program where possible, obtain employment, and try to save money for expenses after they leave TTLP. In TTLP, they learn independent living skills, rebuilding connections with their families and support systems, and to prevent being homeless again. So TTLP addresses the needs of runaway and homeless youth by providing safe, stable, and structured housing as a way of promoting sustainable living and personal growth. We accomplish this by staff assisting our residents to build necessary skills to connect to employment and educational opportunities. By involving residents in decision-making and personal goal setting, our program provides youth with opportunities to improve and develop their skills for self-sufficiency and independence. Our project is committed to help youth rebuild their personal relationships and form permanent connections. We encourage youth to participate in volunteering and participating in community service projects as a way to give back for the support that was given to them and be an active member of their community. The social and emotional well-being of the youth is our primary focus as they strive forward to creating more successful futures for themselves. Daily contact with staff provides opportunities for residents to develop skills for independence and self-sufficiency and monitoring for safety with their apartment and also their emotional and physical well-being and offering of support. The daily weekly responsibilities of a TTLP resident include getting themselves up and prepared for school or work, laundry, grocery shopping, cooking their meals, maintaining a clean apartment, attending independent living classes, programmed recreational activities or community service projects when scheduled, completing school assignments, job searches for those in need of work, and developing a bedtime routine. And for those with a child, they have additional responsibilities of developing parenting skills, adding to their needs, feeding them, preparing them for daycare, picking them up from daycare, bathing them, and preparing them for bed. As you can see, a lot of responsibility for a young person to have, and they take this on as an opportunity to have a better lives for themselves and their dependent children. TTLP is an active member of the New York 511 COC and Coordinated Entry Committee. TTLP participates in Coordinated Entry System and has received all program referrals from Coordinated Entry. TTLP participates in HIMIS and works closely with the administrator on training and completing RIMAS uploads. So this year, TTLP housed 26 runaway and homeless youth. 15 of them were from the city residents prior to being admitted to TTLP. 6 of them were reported being involved with DSS, probation, substance abuse treatment, or mental health treatment. And 16 of the youth who were discharged to permanent housing and independent living or returning to their family. So a few examples of why youth are referred to TTLP. One youth was abandoned by his mother when he was in the hospital. She moved away and didn't tell anyone where she was. One youth left home because his mother is a drug addict and dad is in prison and he wanted a better life for himself. Another youth left her home escaping emotional and physical abuse and now has a restraining order due to threats of harm by her father. Another youth's father went to prison and was left in the care of her stepmother, who was abusive to her, so she couldn't take it anymore, so she left. One youth was staying at the VOA after his dad kicked him out. He came to TTLP needing a more supportive program. Runaway and homeless youth are unique and the most vulnerable of special populations. We ask that you take this into consideration when making a recommendation to fund TTLP in the support of the city's plan to eliminate homelessness.
Thank you. And I think you made it just in the 5 minutes. That's great. Does anyone have questions? Oh, before I forget, our friend Justin, who was nice enough to walk all the way around to come down, is now with us. Hi, Justin. Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but what is it? TTLP?
Yeah,
Is
Teen
right,
Transitional
it's
Living.
like right around the corner from my house and I did not know it was there. And now that I know that it's there, I'm kind of pleased because this just seems like, I mean, you do have teenagers there, but they're not out of control. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
No.
like
They are,
you're-
they
you're-
take a
you
lot
have
of pride.
responsible teenagers over there, especially for that block.
Yes.
So you guys are, I mean, I just was like, is that really there? But it is there. But I mean, you're doing a good job. I just want to say that.
Thank you. And we do, and we talk to the kids about the amount that they put into the program is the amount that they're going to get out of it. So they really could get so much.
I just want to say something. I've learned a lot about the program, but one of the things I do like about the program is you try to, as soon as they get out the program, you try to transition them onto living as an adult, which is really important. I think a lot of the times, like we have these programs, but what happens after, or just like in foster care, a lot of kids age out, or like adoption. Like I like how you guys definitely try to get them into society and try to help them. I know some of the kids, like they gave them furniture or like for their first furniture for their apartment. To us, it's something small, but to someone, it's something big, a bed, a couch. So I really like that you guys do that.
Thanks. And we also do part of the independent living skills group is we do like cooking and get them a set of pots and pans so that when they are ready to move it on their own, that they can be self-sufficient and have the resources that they need.
Yes, I like that.
Other questions? Go ahead, Marilyn. No, Marilyn, you go first.
How many did you say that you can have it like in the houses at a time? There's 9, room for 9 kids? or
Yes,
adults,
there's room
young
for
adults?
9 and there's room for 5 in the city of Binghamton apartment and 4 in our town of Union apartment.
Okay, and they stay there for up to 2 years?
Yep,
Okay.
18 to 24 months. So depending on their level of need and kind of what their long-term plan is how long they stay.
So do you have, do they stay long? Like
It depends.
do you have many that stay long?
We do. Average is 8 to 10, but we do have kids that have stayed the entire
Okay.
24 months because they didn't have any viable resources. So we needed to make sure they built the skills to be able to be successful on their own, because one less homeless youth is one less homeless adult.
Do you do rechecks? Do you do rechecks? Like once they're out, do you check
Yep.
on them?
We do aftercare, so
Okay.
we stay in contact, and many of the kids who have formed relationships with the staff through the program have lifelong connections and know that they can reach out for
Okay.
help and guidance.
All right, very nice.
Michelle.
You said that you have a facility in the town of Union
Yes.
also? So Do you go to them for financial assistance also?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and it's usually successful?
Yes.
Thank you.
I had a question about, you said that you can have 5 kids in the apartment here in Binghamton, but you also mentioned 26 youth. Can you explain that a little more?
So the 26 youth that we've served, we've had kids come in and out, so they've
Oh, it
cycled.
was a cumulative.
Yes, it was a
thing. Okay.
cumulative yearly total.
Okay, thanks, because it sounded like there was 26 more. and I didn't know
No,
how you
it's just
did it.
the yearly.
John, did you have another one?
So you're requesting for a staff visit, is that right?
Yes.
And how do you measure, by what metric do you measure the success of that person? What goals do you have for that staff member?
So we do yearly reviews and we do weekly supervision. So there's supervisions and we talk with the kids and their progress is a real sure tell evaluation of kind of what the staff is doing with them, and the staff act as case managers. So they help them set up all of their appointments, their transportation, do the independent living skills, the cooking with them, and do all of teaching them those living skills. But we do evaluations on staff, and then we do staff meetings and all of those type of things.
I don't have my folder, so I don't have your application here, but is this a new staff position or an existing one?
Nope, it's an existing one.
Thank you. Okay. Did Sarah want to say anything? Okay, and we just wanted to give you the chance, just in case. No other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies, just one thing. It's not about your money, but you said you give kitchen supplies and different household items. Do you take donations of those items by chance?
Yeah.
Because I got multiple sets of pots and pans this year for Christmas that I think I might donate.
Oh,
Whoa,
that would.
So
amazing.
if I can get your contact card or something,
I
I'm
don't write it. I
sure.
don't know.
Come on over. It's warming up and my sinuses are going crazy.
Yeah, but okay, up and down.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
thanks a lot, guys.
Have a good day. Good evening.
Our next group is the Volunteers of America. And she wants to go in.
Hi, my name is Aaron Greger with the Volunteers of America. I'm actually here on behalf of Mike Didi, our Vice President of Housing. He is
Could
currently-
you, move-
Sorry, he
yeah,
is
move-
currently in Rochester. He did reach out to Mr. Carson and got permission to do a remote.
okay,
yep,
Steve was
so-
just telling me.
So with your permission, I'd like to get Mike on the call here.
Okay. Make sure you hold him close to the microphone.
Yes, I'm. Just say, okay, I will do my, I will do my best here. Mike, you are on with our meeting. here.
Great. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Remarkably so, yes.
Yes.
Everybody can hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. I'll try and speak up if need be. Aaron, thank you very much. And Mr. Carson, thank you very much for this one-time accommodation. I apologize for not being able to be there in person. Our director also out this week. So I first want to thank the group for your continued support and for the time and opportunity to present this evening. VOA Upstate New York serves populations in both Monroe County and Broome County. And the VOA in Broome County serves over around 15 individuals, single men nightly, and over 300 homeless men annually between both the shelter and our Code Blue program. In the recent point in time in Broome County, there were 438 homeless individuals that were found, and over 70% of them were single men. So VOA has submitted for funds in the amount of $18,720 to help provide dedicated case management services to serve this high need population, which is vital. And with more dedicated case management, we can provide higher quality services to those individuals. The service delivery focuses on assisting the participants in finding and maintaining permanent housing, which I believe everybody knows has been very difficult lately. So we have in-house support during this time in transition to permanent housing that continues. The case manager also provides continuous support services to help them become more stable and self-sufficient, to assist them in finding employment, make necessary medical appointments, getting connected with treatment programs, and a litany of services as part of each individual plan while they're in our care. We also requested funds in the amount of $23,000 plus to complete our need for new and more secure furnishings for the residents, as well as ongoing supplies. This need exists due to the high volume of population we serve and the wear and tear that continues on essential items such as bedding, cots, lockable wardrobes for their safe belongings and care while they're with us. So this request will ultimately, again, have a positive impact on those whom we continue to serve and work with. In the interest of time, I'm happy to answer any questions that the panel may have.
Does anyone have any questions? If I understand you correctly, sir, you're saying that you have 2 requests into us?
It's all one request, but it's broken down with the funding. So the complete funding is the $42,320. I just broke it down in terms of line items for you. I apologize.
No. My question was going to be, if you could only get one of those projects funded, which one would you want to be funded? What is your priority here?
Did you hear that, Mike?
No, I'm sorry. What was the question, Eric?
If we could only get one of those things, what would be our priority as far as the funding goes?
Well, the priority, as far as we're concerned, is the case management. We definitely need to add to our case management services. We have very strong case managers, but given the need and the more increased mental health needs of populations, both I think across the nation, I know that across the nation, but the dedicated case management services are vital. We're in hopes to be able to get both, but obviously the case management and one-to-one services are extremely important.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I'm interested, you said Code Blue program. What is that exactly is that?
She wants to know what Code Blue is.
Go ahead, Aaron. I mean, unless somebody.
I can speak to that. Code Blue is we had in shelter additionals, and that it is the temperature feels like below freezing. So we basically provide a warm place for them to be at least overnight.
Do they have to come to you or do you go to them? I know
Normally,
the police used to do it. They used to
so
the river
normally,
banks.
we will get frequently referrals from DSS. So individuals who, do not qualify or sanctioned, or, if we do not have a normal open emergency housing bed, we will, get them in and at least get them warm. And then should we have a regular emergency housing bed open up, we will actually transfer them over if we can.
Okay, so that program's still going on.
Yes, it's from November well into March, weather dependent.
I just had a question. So like she said with Code Blue, what's the turnaround time? So like if someone came in and do you guys house them right away? Is that how that works?
If we have the ability to, if we have room for them, we will, get them, housed with us until we can, either get them hooked up with services through DSS or.
And is there any requirements like
At this point, basically, they just have to get police clearance. I have any outstanding warrants.
Okay.
I just know I have two guys that live down by the river by us, and the police were there 2 days ago or 3 days ago when it was really cold. And I wondered if that's what they may have been there for, to get them out. And
Yeah, so we, I know Ephraim with YWCA does a lot of outreach. Fortunately, we don't have the current staff to really be going out and finding folks.
So it's through referral then.
And they'll come off the street, they'll come from, the police departments. I actually just fielded a call from Endicott Police Department earlier, looking to get someone placed, and we were able to get them in. So
And where's the location?
we are at 320 Shenango Street. It's right across from Town and Country Apartments.
Okay, that's right by my store. 320 Shenango?
Yep.
And are these the kind of clients that your case manager would be working with? The people that come in to you,
Yes,
they would work with them after the crisis?
yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
I'm sorry, I have one more question. So what's their turnaround? Like I asked before, like what is the goal to get them into permanent housing? Is that what you do?
For emergency housing or Code Blue specifically?
Okay, just in
Okay.
general, like.
In
your whole
general,
program.
we try to get them, we are what we call housing first.
Mhm.
So we try to get them secured with housing to make things, access other services easier. It is much more difficult to, get set up with a primary care physician if you're not sure where you're going to be.
Okay.
So we focus on getting housing first, and obviously, mental health, physical health needs addressed. And then, anything up through, employment, life skills,
Okay.
dependent on each individual.
Any other questions? Thank you. And thank you for taking the call.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know. I figured when you were like that, you were doing. How if they work with them? Oh, wow. I know. Our next presenter is the YWCA.
I remember that. You're gonna do a good job. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead, girl. Got this. You got this.
We are just a bunch of ordinary Binghamton people.
you-
Please feel very
Right.
comfortable.
You got this, girl.
Hi,
You
I'm
need to
Belinda.
you need to put the mic very close
Oh,
so we can all hear you.
hello.
Awesome.
Hi. Hi. My name is Belinda Ellison, and I'm Emergency Housing Shelter Case Manager of the YWCA. And I would like to say thank you for your contribution that has helped the YWCA and others that has helped the less fortunate and those in need. All right. The YWCA serves single women and
Maybe
families.
You can put the mic down closer to your mouth. You don't have to.
Oh,
Yeah, be comfortable. Be comfortable. No, please. We want you to be comfortable.
The YWCA serves single women and families. We provide them with the basic necessities like food, hygiene products, and donations like clothes and socks. And if they have children, baby clothes, baby wipes, formula as well. That's donated from the community. We have been at full capacity since last year. The highest percentage this year was in April, which we served at 124%, and the lowest in September at 96%. Right now, the emergency housing shelter is running at full capacity, which is at 100%. Plus, if you add the Code Blue cots, which this gentleman just said that we have, that adds more to the percentage. Sorry. These numbers will keep going up due to the homeless population rising, due to there being a need for more low-income affordable housing. We help many women with resources out in the community, for example, where to find pantry, clothing banks, and other organizations that can help with supplies once they do find housing. We assist many women who come from different walks and journeys of life, women who have been through domestic violence, who have mental health disabilities and substance abuse. And can I just say, I was one of those women who walked through the YWCA doors 6 years ago. And if it wasn't for the Y, I wouldn't be the emergency housing shelter case manager now. Thank you. Any questions?
Does anyone have questions? Justin?
What's the number of Code Blue, in your case, cots that you have that you can help women in cold weather?
So normally we have about 6 to 8 cots, but right now the cots are the extra cots, well, we have 8 cots. 4 of them are being used right now for single individuals, and the other 4 we're using for a family that we put in the library right now. So we don't have we're at full capacity at this point. We're using our residential library to have a family, which is a mom, her 2 twin teenage girls, and her 15-year-old son who has a mental disability as well.
Can you talk a little bit? I know you're the emergency person, but can you talk a little bit about if I, and I didn't bring my folder, so I don't have the application here, but the regular program that you have, you do some long-term work with people, don't you?
Yes, so we do. It used to be called the long-term housing program, but now it's the permanent supportive housing program. And the women, and it's changed a lot. So some of the women have to come through emergency housing. While they're there, they apply for the long-term housing program. Sometimes they get into the program and sometimes they don't. The ones who do get into the program, we do have a process which they fill out the applications. We have to get supportive documents. And then I interview the family or the individual, and then I give that application to my supervisor. I tell them about the individual, their journey, their background, and then my supervisors will determine which program fits them best.
Who determines whether they get accepted or not? I mean,
That's above my pay grade.
but hopefully you at least know.
Yes, I do.
No,
Yes,
but
I do.
that's what I'm asking. How does the decision get made? Can you?
Well, it
speak to
depends on their background. So let's just say we have a new journey program. So if a woman or a family, they are a DV survivor, they will go into our new domestic violence program, AKA the journey program.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And you're asking for the funds for
Emergency housing.
emergency
Emergency
housing
housing.
only? That's
Well,
specifically what you're asking funds for.
yes.
Thank
There-
you.
Thank you.
There's 2 different requests here on the sheet.
There's shelter. and
Well,
then there's
Oh, I see. So
Yeah,
you're talking to the one and then.
Yes.
Somebody else, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a
Thanks,
question.
You're welcome.
So you guys accept families?
Yes, we do.
Is that new?
No, we've been accepting families, to my
Mhm.
knowledge, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, because I just think that there's like a lack of shelter for families. It's either men or women.
Agreed,
and
agreed,
I
agreed.
just,
Well, we do have a program in Endicott Square. It's our family program. And once the family gets accepted into that program, if they have their husband, their boyfriend, or their significant other, they are allowed to live with them. But the tenant with their family has to go through the process first. But that program is full too, as well.
I'm sure. I don't know why, I mean, with the increase in homelessness, I don't know why we don't have another shelter, but that's
Preach.
not your issue.
I agree too. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Michelle?
Could you comment on, would you say that your client population have come into this area new? Or do you think that these are people that have lived in the area for a while?
It's 50-50. At this point, it's 50-50. Some are new and then some were here who the rent went up and they can't afford it. Some are DV and fleeing, and they come into the area to start a new life and get away from their abuser.
Because I don't have my folder with
No,
me,
you're
and
fine.
I forgot. Can you tell me how much you're asking for that program?
That I cannot.
Okay,
I'm being honest, I cannot.
31,
81,
81,
256,
81,
81.
20% of their budget.
81. Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to say something. Hi, how are you, girl?
Nervous.
I just want to say, thank you for the work that you do. I do feel like it's important to have someone like you in that position, especially because a lot of times people can't relate to someone who hasn't been through it. So like, thank you so much for helping people. They really need people like you in those positions. And
I
thank
just
you.
want to pay it forward. I really,
yeah.
really do. That's the honest truth.
Good girl.
If it wasn't, I just want to give back on what was done for me and the opportunity. I would like for the next person who's coming from discouragement, insecurity, just feeling like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. I want them to have the same opportunity that I felt and I was given as well.
Amen. Amen.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's awesome that you're playing it. Playing it.
Or, yeah, thank you.
I feel that though I get a little bit bothered by other people coming into our community and getting help first when we have so many in our community that need the help.
Agreed?
I feel that there should be a thing where I mean, it's humans are humans, I get it, but
Right.
our
Right.
community needs so much help now that I feel that should be our main focus. I mean, I know
Yeah. One, right, no, well, first of all, everyone's entitled to their opinion and how they feel. I feel like that it's to the point where everybody needs help.
They
A
do.
program for people who are coming in and a program for people who are here.
Yeah.
Because everyone deserves the opportunity, no matter where they're coming from, to get help.
Yeah. Understand. And a lot of times you don't even know, like things happen in life. You could have your whole life planned and things just happen. You never know what
Right.
can happen in life.
Oh, we've had that situation too as well.
Yes.
We've had.
And we can't forget that we are the city in the region
Yeah.
and that the small towns and places outside the counties around Broome do not have the programs that we do. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think she said fleeing domestic violence, right?
Yeah.
Not so much fleeing.
Yeah.
Right.
Are there any other questions? You did magnificently.
Thank you. Thank you.
can
Thank
breathe.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
We'll hear from the street outreach people. And while we're waiting for that group to come, Deb Hogan has joined our group.
Hi, and thank you for your generous support with the YWCA Street Outreach Program. My name is Ephraim Rosario. I'm the Street Outreach Coordinator for the YWCA. The Street Outreach, as a Street Outreach Coordinator and Housing Advocate, is designed to facilitate provision of essential services for unsheltered homeless persons while establishing a collaborative community relationships to enhance rapid access to emergency shelter, permanent housing, critical services to promote local solutions and prevent homelessness among vulnerable populations. This is accomplished by locating and engaging unsheltered homeless persons for the purposes of providing immediate support, intervention, and connections with homeless assistance programs and mainstream resources. Addressing housing needs and increasing access to critical resources for both men, women, and families. Case management is provided. Providing advocacy for homeless individuals at agency levels such as Broome County Department of Social Services and with landlords to assist with permanent housing, addressing immediate needs through the provisions of meal cards, toiletry bags, cell phones with minutes and travel vouchers if possible. The YWCA's outreach program provides 24-hour on-call service phone assistance, which means that when from the hours of 8 and 5, I'll have our street outreach cell phone for connection for those individuals who are unsheltered in the street or even in the hotels who need assistance with, let's say, getting food or even transporting to go to a job interview or to go see a landlord. But after 5 o'clock, I forward the phone calls to our YWCA senior staff on-call individual who takes the phone calls after that. And then when I come back in the next day, then the phone calls come back straight to the phone. So we try to make sure that we have 24-hour service with individuals that need assistance. And if need be, then I'll get called in for anything that the on-call individual can't get to, like what's in our YWCA storage closets and things like that, or try to assist them. I'll come in and I'll help out with what I can. Sorry, lost my place. So that system is already in place at the YWCA's as well as emergency housing program and with the YWCA's permanent supportive program. And over the last year, we've assisted close to approximately 200 clients with housing service, 13 veterans, homeless assisted with either housing, including placements in shelters, motels, or short-term stays and assistance through the Broome County Department of Social Services. 23 family households were assisted with housing, including with placement or shelters, motels, short-term or assistance moving into suitable permanent housing and community supportive programs. 138 single households connected to community resources that addresses mental health, substance abuse treatment, domestic violence, legal matters, and financial insecurity, and etc. And within that, approximately about 23 men and women who are fleeing because there are some that we work on, but we cannot put it into the system. So these individuals, because they're fleeing, we make sure we try the best that we can to keep them safe. So instead of like putting it digitally, we keep it paper so that everything is on file, so their names don't get out. Now, also on top of those individuals who are homeless, for those individuals who are going to be homeless, let's say those individuals whose homes are being condemned because the powers are getting turned off, the water pipe froze, or something that the landlord has done where the place has been condemned. So what I'll do is I'll definitely direct them into Department of Social Services or some kind of I'll make sure they connect with 211 so they can contact coordinated entry. So if there's anything that coordinated entry can do with them, assisting them with housing services. For those individuals that are aware that they try to look for housing but can't find anything, they've already been connected with Department of Social Services so that we can move on if there's a hotel room available or a shelter that is available. So so as they're going to be evicted, I do let them know. I said, because you are still couch surfing or you are still in a home until the sheriffs come and they lock your doors up, I'm willing to assist you and direct you where I can direct. So it's not just for those individuals that are just are out in the streets or in hotels, shelter. But again, once again, thank you very much for your continuous support in the YWCA Street Outreach Program. Sorry if I took too long.
No, you were
I've
perfect.
actually shortened it up from the last
No, you were
couple
perfect.
of years.
Please. Any questions, Michelle?
You mentioned some of your clients were veterans.
Yes,
So do you work with the VA? Can you have any kind of emergency contact with the VA locally to help with those?
that's correct. We also contact the VA in Syracuse. So we give them the information that they need in order to find out if there's anything further, who we can be directed to from them. And then we also contact the VA here as well. And then there's programs like where Aaron works in Volunteers of America, where they have a VA specified rooms as well. So yeah, we definitely try to direct them as best as possible,
Thank you.
as well as assist them with getting there and things like that.
Deb,
Hello, I'm in the back of the room. Go ahead. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
A few questions and concerns that I have in previous presentations regarding the veterans. I'm not sure if everybody knows the city of Binghamton has the Veterans Housing Program on Pine Street. And that is really becoming a phenomenal. And I really think that is needed to be added to your presentation, just to note that you are making and that contact has been put in place with funding from this commission in the past. One of the things I was a little bit surprised about that the YW did not know about, my understanding that there is, for those people not wanting to come in is because of their animals, that RISE has worked out an agreement with the Broome County Dog Shelter. So whether that's still in place or not, I was very surprised. You're an outreach coordinator. You need to be making these contacts and be aware of your community and what other organizations are doing. Because if you come across a person, I'm not leaving without my pets. So you would need to, if you can't help me with your program, need to properly refer me to someone else. And it just concerned me that, and we all learn from one another. So I'm hoping that that nugget of information can be of assistance.
Definitely helpful.
I think that's something that is a barrier. And I still remember poignantly, it was a different presenter, but there was a veteran living out near the Tri-Cities Airport in Endicott. Steve, you may have shared this with me. He had 2 dogs. He was not going in without the dogs. Would do the same. The other concern I have, and I didn't hear it in this particular presentation, is that you have advocated or your organization has purchased tents. Are those tents being purchased with our funds that you receive from us?
They can be, yes.
Okay, that gives me to my other questions and concerns. If people are not allowing their relatives or friends into their apartment to couch surf, which is one of the ways that people can navigate the system in between, what about the landlords? Are you asking permission for the landlord to have a tent pitched in their backyard? What about the sanitation, issues within the city of Binghamton? It's a bit more concerning. And I'm hoping I can get some more information. And if you don't have it tonight, that's fine and can report back to us. But I'm not sure if anybody else around the table has questions or concerns. That's something that we can delve into. But it really bothered me since the last presentations. And also, speaking to someone about that, there is like a moisture barrier or like sleeping bags that assist with that are you helping with that, or is it just a tent? Again, I don't expect you to have all those answers for me, but it would put me at ease before we go into deliberation. So thank you.
No, definitely. We do supply. Let me.
I have.
My understanding, we had a RISE presentation to my ladies organization, and that was something possibly 3 years ago that we had heard of that. Now, again, with anything in government, it can change. But if it's not still in place, why can't you work with your county legislator to help that? I don't want to take a lot of time, but. Oh, yes, you brought that up. And I was like, I didn't respond because there was other people in the room that evening. But I was aware of that program, and maybe you could, give them a
No, I'll
a
give anyone
jingle.
a call, because I mean, there's resources out there.
Yeah,
oh, Okay, yeah, if there's a resource out there, I want everybody, I don't care whether it's the Y or the VOA or any agency that can assist anyone out there to be able to assist them. So I'm all about communication. So all agencies should be communicating if they're coming to the COC meeting, because I was the board president of the COC back in the day. I encouraged everyone in the 6 counties that were part of the COC to come to those meetings. I ran the community awareness program back in the day, and I kept asking everyone from those 6 counties, Broome and Portland, et cetera, to come to those, get someone on those meetings to bring attention to the gaps in services or what's needed in your county. So we could get an RFP put out there or a NOFA out there to look for funds to create programs like what RISE is doing, because I've been doing this since '95, and that's the first time I've ever heard of RISE having that program. And trust me, I'm a veteran. So if I had a veteran that had service dogs or animals, I'd want them to get to that program that RISE is providing. So that is a shock to me that there's a program out there that I didn't even know about, and I've been doing this forever. And I ran coordinated entry, and I have a list of everybody in the community plus the other counties still on my desk. So please, if there's a program out there, let Ephraim know, because I know how much work he does, even from my days at coordinated entry. He's pounding the asphalt. He's been on Front Street under the bridges where if you drive on Front Street down by Tractor Supply, you'll see people living under that bridge. So if I drive by, I call him or text him, hey, there's someone under a bridge. Can you go get them? And they can say, I don't want services, but can you give me a meal ticket or a blanket or water or food, et cetera? And Ephraim goes and gets that stuff. So please, if there's an agency out there, let me know and I'll get with Ephraim or Belinda. So I just wanted to answer that about the PAT. Oh, and I'm Brian Daniels. I'm the quality assurance at the YWCA. I know some people in here. So I figured people might know me. But yeah, so please, I know Belinda does a great job. Ephraim and all the agencies in the community that's asking for funds does a great job for this community. And there's not enough funds to give to everybody. I know that, but I appreciate all the support that the city does for the YWCA. So I'll end it in that. So.
Thank you, Brian. Any other questions?
I wanted to answer the part about the tents and the blankets. So we do have tents, we do have blankets, we give water, book bags, hygiene supplies, nail clippers, hand warmers, body warmers, lotions, food, prepared food. I get ready meals from churches, from donations. When individuals need to go to pantries, I bring them food from pantries, or I take them there because sometimes they want to get there personally as well. So we do request with these monies as well for those things as well, because we do offer cell phones with minutes on it so that they can have someone to call if they're looking for a job or for a landlord. For those individuals who are unable, who are not tech savvy, I'm there to assist them with putting that together as well. And so yes, those are things that we would like to use the monies for. To answer your question.
Any other questions?
I just want to say, Ephraim, I don't know, or have you been involved with the email chain on the City of Binghamton Housing and Homeless Resources handout we've created? Or has Carol mentioned it to you, or has anyone mentioned it to you?
I've been on vacation this week, but was it prior to this?
Yeah, so
week?
we've created this handout that we're using to meet some HUD requirements for code enforcement. We have housing resources, but we also included homeless resources. And that includes a map of the available community meal programs and a timeline and sort of like a Monday, 9 o'clock.
Times,
So yeah,
yes, we have
the various
those.
places, as well as your agency, possibly your phone number, obviously 211 and obviously 911 as well on there. We've just basically been handing them out to everybody just as a means of getting the information out there. And the information is also available on the city website. Feel free if you want any more questions. If you have any more questions about that, let me know. But the city website is starting to expand. We're starting to add more, even beyond City of Binghamton community meals just community meals for now, just, I mean, before it gets too crazy, but yeah, we're trying to work that out so that agencies like yourself, I mean, you can pull it up on your cell phone. And if someone asks a question or if there's a printed map, you can say, look, you're 3 blocks away and this place opens in half an hour, go get something to eat. So
Fantastic. Great. Thank you.
If there are no other questions, thank you, Ephraim.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Our last presenter is Action for Older Persons. Where's she going? Oh. Okay. Take care. Take care. She doesn't. We're waiting for a colleague, if you don't mind.
Oh, no.
Thank you so much. I know you've been here all night.
You know, long enough to have sweaty palms and.
Because of us?
No, because I've been sitting here going, I'm like ready to,
Oh, okay.
so I'll probably talk. Much time.
No, please don't worry about that. We apologize for the delay here,
No,
but we do want to make sure a colleague is back before you start,
and it's nice to be able to do this in person.
as long as you keep the mic close to you.
I will do my best.
Yeah. It feels kind of weird, but you have to do
It's
it.
better than being stressed about tech issues.
There you go. And we think we have problems. Yeah. No, but the big bugs are good. I don't know if anybody was there. I don't know why my son was there. We're talking among ourselves while we're waiting.
No, I think I'm the last person of the whole thing, right?
Yes,
And you
you are.
guys are done? Okay.
Last but not least, okay.
Just in time for New Year's.
While we're doing this, while we're waiting for Kenya to come back, let's take up the minutes of the last meeting, December 14th.
Oh,
I do
there's
have a
one
correction. Okay, you got it. All right.
One correction to make to reflect that John Brunza was in attendance.
I'm really sorry.
So we need to add him to the list of member attendees. Other than that, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the December 14th, 2022 CDAC committee minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second. Go ahead.
Johnson.
Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Yeah, I would.
Who was second on that? Was it John and, oh, Brandy?
The gang over there.
I've got to write a name down.
The gang over there. So how you been?
I'll just tell the committee just a little bit more. So I double checked. I can't believe we're at, you guys know when the next meeting is?
No.
The 4th. Sorry, but then we'll get into a 2-week cycle, but we had to pre-plan for the CDAC meeting. So if you look on the city calendar now, there is no surprises. All CDAC meetings for the entire year 2023 are on the calendar. No surprises whatsoever. You will see them. The only ones that would be added is if there's a special emergency session that you guys decide you need. So it would be, yeah, I believe it will be the 4th and the 18th, but the 4th one will probably be pretty quick because it's probably just going to be the organizational meeting. So I don't think we're going to do much beyond that.
So when do we get the pizza?
6:15.
March.
March, okay. In March, we get the pizza. he said.
In time for
Yeah,
my
we
birthday.
waited on you.
We voted on the minutes.
Thank you for your patience. Mike, close.
Mike, close. Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Jessie Stonehey, and I'm the Executive Director of Action for Older Persons. We've been a part of this community for 50 years. And as you can get from our name, we mostly serve seniors, but that's not all we serve. But I'm here today to talk to you about our senior health insurance program, which basically the other way, I like to just call it Medicare counseling because it makes more sense to people. And I'm looking around the room and I can see that probably not all of you are that familiar with Medicare because you don't become familiar with Medicare until you have to. When you age into it or you go out on long-term disability. Medicare was created as a safety net program in the 1960s, and it was created because about half of all senior citizens across the country didn't have health insurance. And that's because getting old is expensive. As people age, so when you're a senior, it costs 4 times as much in health care costs as the rest of the population. And at the same time, seniors have lower incomes. So you can see how much of a barrier health insurance has historically been. And that was why Medicare came into existence. And 70 years ago when it was created, maybe it was straightforward. I don't know. But today it's a mess. It is incredibly complicated. And anyone who's on it can tell you that in half a second. The first time they go on it, they're expecting it to be like the health insurance they may have had through an employer where they had 3 to 5 options to choose from. It's nothing like that. In Broome County, we have 100+ options for people with health who need health insurance. And it overwhelms and intimidates people. So they don't get the services they need unless they find us and they come to us for counseling. And we have a team of 1.5 staff members and about 15 volunteers that provide close to 3,000 counseling visits, counseling appointments a year. Most of those are virtual. That was one of the transitions with COVID, which has definitely made us more accessible to individuals who, with mobility issues. The people that we always prioritize at this point to come and do in person are those with hearing issues. But at the end of the day, I think numbers mean a lot. So in the last year, we served approximately 400 City of Binghamton residents, and that translates to $500,000 in savings. That is funds that went directly back into the pockets of seniors in our communities that could use those funds however they needed them. So many for those necessities in life, whether it be food, whether it be shelter, you name it. But that goes directly back to them. So we know $500,000 is a great number to use, but we know that number is going to dramatically increase in the next year. So to give you a quick little story to help understand it, we had a gentleman named Bernard that called us last summer. He called us because he was almost completely blind because he'd had diabetes that he wasn't treating because he wasn't getting insurance that he actually qualified for, but he hadn't been aware of that. So when he went to his doctor said, your vision is going to be completely gone if you don't go on a bunch of very expensive medications. And he was terrified, but but that prompted him to find us. We were able to enroll him in what is called a Medicare savings program. And that gave him all of his medications for free. And it took care of any of his health insurance premiums. So the average benefit for a Medicare savings program is $7,000 per person that he directly receives and will receive every year going forward. But the reason I said that 5 million is going to get so much bigger is because Medicare savings program has been dramatically extended starting January 1st. In the last year, there were about 70 people that we served and provided enrolled into Medicare savings programs. Next year, we're anticipating it will be between 700 and 800. And that's because the income limits have been dramatically expanded. So outreach is going to be incredibly important over the next year, especially as we go into the first quarter. And that is why I think the support from this group is particularly important, to let people know that who previously didn't qualify for a Medicare savings program, that they will qualify for it, and to help them through the enrollment process, which is complicated, intimidating, and challenging, which is why most people don't even try, even though they know that benefit might be there for them. So once again, I hope I said at the beginning how grateful we are for this group support. And I would ask you to strongly consider continuing to support, because I think this year it's going to be a really big year to make a difference.
Thank you. Any questions? I have one. Can you tell me about your outreach methodologies?
Yeah, I will say the pandemic had us rein back some of our outreach. So, I mean, we're really going to be ramping that up in partnership with the Office for Aging and the United Way, who are both funding partners for us. So those are strategic relationships that we're going to be working with. We also are going to be working with rural health outreach, with rural health services, and their outreach programs. We've been doing a lot of education about our programming so they understand it, and their outreach workers can also be doing referrals. We haven't worked as much with Catholic Charities since the pandemic. So that's I think one of the challenges that a lot of nonprofits have faced is that there's been a lot of staff turnover in nonprofits. So it's a lot of work to redevelop those relationships. So that's something that we haven't prioritized as much since the pandemic, because we operate at capacity as it is. So it's more prioritizing who we're not reaching. So it's prioritizing making sure we're getting out to these individuals that haven't gotten this because they haven't qualified before. So they're going to get letters in the mail and they won't know what to do with them, that are going to say, you can enroll, and we're going to have to help them, because they'll get the letters and they'll have to go through a whole process where they work with DSS to get qualified.
They're getting letters from.
They will get, okay, as they are assessed, and it's based on when their birthday is, they will get a letter telling them that they are going to qualify for the program.
From the government?
Yes. Okay. And they won't know what to do with it, and they won't know how to go through it. And that's going to happen all year long. And there will be people that will qualify on January 1 because the income limits have been extended, but it's based on the federal poverty line. So the federal poverty line gets reassessed every year. So when it's reassessed, that will add even more people onto it. So they're expecting, New York State's expecting that about 300,000 people will be able to qualify for MSPs. In contrast, 300,000 compared to 16,000 that were enrolled last year. So this is going to be massive.
Is the Medicare savings that you're talking about, is that Medicare Advantage? Is that the same thing?
It's not, well, you know, Medicare is really complicated.
Yes,
so
I do. Yes.
So what it is, you can be enrolled in either a Medicare Advantage or traditional Medicare. So for those who aren't familiar with it, Medicare Advantage is when all of your drug plan, your inpatient, your outpatient are all bundled together. That's not traditional Medicare. On the other side is traditional Medicare, which doesn't have it bundled, and somebody can have a Part B, their Part B's, which is their outpatient services, is segmented out, and their drug plan is segmented out. So it applies to both. What the Medicare Savings Plan does is it gets rid of the Part B premium, which is because you don't have to pay for the other side of it. And it also gets rid of all of the drug costs. They're gone. So they don't have to pay for those anymore, ever, once they're enrolled in it. So it doesn't matter if it's an Advantage versus traditional
I see.
Medicare.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Are there any, Deb?
Back in the day, I was a volunteer at your organization and wrote a couple newsletter articles. But just a suggestion for outreach, and I think you folks have done it in past, but it's getting us past COVID, is the outreach to our senior citizen center. And just for the other commissioners, I know Marianne knows this, but when you intake your clients, you do a census. So you know that the funds that we're apportioning to you for City of Binghamton residents is going to City of Binghamton residents, because you have to verify that at their intake. So just as an FYI.
We do, absolutely. And I'm sorry, when I was speaking to OFA, Office for Aging, I was specifically thinking in my head, and so this is my lack of clarification of our city centers. Because we do presentations in the senior centers multiple times a year. We do it with staff housing too. I also didn't mention that, I'm sorry. But yes, thank you for bringing that up. You're exactly right. We do that. And it was kind of a taken for granted in my head. I apologize.
It's hard to get everything in 5 minutes that we asked you to do. But the other thing that should be mentioned is your volunteers are sterling. They are very, very knowledgeable.
And I'll just say about our volunteers, part of the reason we do as much virtual counseling as we do is because they are Medicare recipients themselves, and COVID has meant they don't feel comfortable coming in. But they're as passionate and as determined, and they get it because they all have had to navigate it themselves.
Exactly. You do good training with them.
Yeah, and we've had some for 30 odd years.
Awesome. And you got to call early or you don't get an appointment before the deadline. I know that too. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? Thank you so much, not only for your presentation, but your patience.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Have a good night.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Oh my God. Wow. Learning. Yeah. Yeah. Because they- Yeah.
But you have to turn the house over 5 years before, or they can take it. It's complicated, but
Seems like it.
yes.
It's a lot.
So, colleagues, I think we are at the end of our meeting, and if anyone wants to entertain a motion to adjourn, we will do a final roll call.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I second.
Okay, can we do a roll call starting with John again?
John Brunza, Mayor appointee.
Brandy Brown, District 3.
Justin McGregor, District 7.
Kenya Middleton, Mayor appointee.
Mary Ann Callahan, First Ward.
Michelle O'Loughlin, Fifth District.
Marilyn Austin, Sixth District.
Deborah Hogan, mayoral appointee.
Can I make a question? Do we actually vote on accepting
The minutes?
no,
No, we were gonna do that now.
Okay.
Yeah. So all in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. Okay, we are adjourned.
That's it.
Next meeting is January 4th.